welcome to the very first episode of Hockey Stories with Mike, with your host, me. The name is Mike. Thank you for joining me on today's very first episode of Hockey Stories with Mike. For today's episode, we're going back to February 2nd of 2017. I know, it's a long time. This game was very important to me, and I'm about to tell you why. Well, as you probably know, and probably by my username, Canucklehead Hockey, I'm a huge Vancouver Canucks fan. But you're probably wondering, Mike, why are you wearing a San Jose Sharks jersey? Well, the reason why this story is important and why I'm wearing this Sharks jersey is that on February 2nd, 2017, was the very first live game that I ever took in as a hockey fan, like as a Canucks fan, as a hockey fan. I mean, I've been to hockey games like in my hometown of Campbell River to see the Storm play. I saw 2 games in Victoria. This is not the Victoria Royals, though. This was the Victoria Salmon Kings of the ECHL. So that's going back quite a few years. But yeah, February 2nd, 2017 was the very first Canucks game that I ever attended in my entire life. I went to the game with my dad. It all started and how it ended up happening. We were sitting here at my house. We were watching television, and we were watching TV, and a commercial came on. It was a Budweiser commercial, and it was for the Budweiser goal horn, or the goal light. And one of the things that was added to it was that if you bought the goal light, you could get a selection to certain Vancouver Canucks home games during that season, toward the end of the season, that were in the lower section, so the lower bowl, and there was a certain selection of different games that you could attend. I don't know them all of them off the top of my head, but my dad was like, "Do you want to go to a game?" I'm like, "Yeah, you don't have to ask me twice." So he got on the phone and he called up Budweiser and he ordered the goal light, and we went down the list of all the teams that we wanted to go see. And we chose the February 2nd game of 2017, and this was like in early January, and it was to see the Sharks play, because we both like the Sharks. I've always really had a deep spot, soft spot for San Jose, just as they've had a lot of great players over the years. Patrick Marleau, Joe Thornton, Joe Pavelski, Brent Burns. The list goes on and on and on. There's Evgeny Nabokov, even though he was such a pain for the Canucks to play against half the time. But yeah, I like San Jose. I mean, I don't like LA, even though I have a Kings jersey. I don't like Anaheim, even though I do have a Ducks jersey. But I've always really liked San Jose. They have really nice jerseys. They have really nice colored uniforms. The teal is amazing. This particular jersey, the one I'm wearing, is their anniversary jersey, and I'm planning to get it customized. I'm going to put Patrick Marleau on it with the patch. That's the plan. But we chose that game for February 2nd because they're playing the Sharks, and we really like the Sharks, so let's go see the Sharks play. And this was a season where Brent Burns was having a monster season. I don't know the exact how many points he put up that year, or even if he won the Norris. I can't remember. But anyway, we went over to the day of the game. We went over to Vancouver. We got our hotel. We stayed at the Sandman because it's right across the street from the arena. It was perfect. And I got my Canucks jersey on. I had my hat. I was going to buy a jersey, but they didn't have any jerseys in my size. The ones they did have in my size were, it was the military or Army Appreciation Night. So they had the military or the Army, Armed Forces jerseys, and they looked really cool, even though they were like for practice, like wearing in warm-up. I really liked one, and I was this close to buying one, but money was tight at that time, so I didn't do it. So we go to the game. We go in the lower section, and we're getting all settled in, and we're watching all the players there warming up, and Ryan Miller's in net, like the GOAT, Ryan Miller. Getting his number retired by Buffalo this season. I'm really happy about that. It's well deserved. That was during Troy Stetcher's rookie season, I believe, and so I was paying attention to him. Bo Horvat was on the team, so yeah, I was paying attention. The Twins were playing. The only Canucks game I ever attended live where I got to see the Twins play. So this you can see why this game means a lot to me. But so anyway, they make the announcements before the game starts, and the number one thing that gets brought up is that Patrick Marleau is 1 goal away from 500. And I'm thinking, well, that's pretty cool. You know, like he's had a really great career, scored a lot of goals, and he's been in San Jose a very, very long time. So I was thinking to myself, yeah, like I want him to score. I want to see it happen. And so the game starts, and at 9:30 of the first period on the power play, Patrick Marleau scored his 500th goal. So I mean, even though I'm a Canucks fan, I got my Canuck jersey on. I've got my hat on. I was cheering. People were cheering throughout the whole arena. Everyone was cheering for Patrick Marleau because that's a very special milestone. 500 goals. That's awesome. So yeah, Patrick Marleau got his 500th goal. It was really special, and I got to be there live in person to get to see that moment. So that memory will stick with me forever. It was my very first live game that I got to see, and unfortunately, it's the only game I ever got to see live with my dad. Yeah, like because we talked about several times to go back to go see another live game. The only reason why they were offering the tickets in the lower bowls, the Canucks were having a really, really bad season. I mean, awful, just awful. So they were not selling out, and they were having trouble selling out their home games. So that's why they were having the promotion. So yeah, so that's how we ended up getting the tickets, and we went and saw the Canucks play, even though they lost. The score was 4-1. The only player, the Canucks player that scored, was Philip Larson. Philip Larson, like, come on. Like, the Twins couldn't score. Burrows couldn't score. That's another one I got to see live. Horvat couldn't score. Yeah, it was Philip Larson, assisted by Brendan Gaunce and Nikita Trampkin. I'm looking at the stats here, by the way. There's no way I'd know that off the top of my head. But yeah, that game will stick with me forever. It was a loss, unfortunately, but just to go see a Canucks game live in person, it was awesome, and it's a moment I'll remember for the rest of my life. So, yeah, I mean, it was cool. We had great seats. I don't know. I can't remember if I took very many pictures. If I find them, maybe I'll put them in this video. If you don't see them, I'm sorry. But yeah, it was great seats. Bad atmosphere. I mean, if you know Vancouver, you know we're not very good when our team's losing. But yeah, it was a great experience. One I'll never forget. I had a lot of fun doing it. I've been to 3 other live games. So far, the Canucks are 1-2-1. The second game I saw was they played LA. They lost in overtime. Then later, it was during Vegas's debut season, their first year in the league. They throttled the Canucks, just throttled them. Maybe that'll be another one of my stories there. Getting to go see the Vegas Golden Knights in their inaugural season. And then my last Canucks game I went to was like a week or so before COVID hit. They were playing Colorado, and they beat them 6-3. That was a great game. The best part was hearing all these Avalanche fans just chirping and saying all terrible things, like saying, "Oh, Makar's better than Quinn Hughes." It's like, oh my God, like give it a rest. Makar wasn't even playing that night. But maybe that'll be another hockey story down the road. But yeah, that's my first hockey story. My very first Canucks game in live. My very first live Canucks game, February 2nd, 2017. So that's quite a long time ago. It's very special to me, even though they lost and San Jose won. And yeah, that's the very first episode of Hockey Stories with Mike, with me. So I really appreciate you guys sticking around for this episode. If you like this episode, then give it a like and a thumbs up, and comment down below if you like the story and if you'd like to see more. But also, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and get notified when I post future content. I know I've been away for a while, but I'm trying my best. I've got more jerseys coming, more content's coming. So I'm not entirely. I'm not done. I'm still here. So thank you for joining me on this video with Hockey Stories with Mike, episode 1, and have yourselves a great day. See you later. Bye for now.